Hello and welcome back to Mass Effect. I'm Chance, and also known as Maras, and I kind of messed it up, but in the last episode we were at Pharos or something. I don't remember, it's been a while, but we did it, and I think we talked to Caden or something, and we learned some schwanky-danky stuff about, I don't know, his love life. Let's make sure, though. Don't want to screw up on that.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at.
I've wasted enough of your time for now.
We already talked to Caden, so let's go talk to the other companions, and then we'll head off to do something. Wow, I apparently wasted a lot of
Yes,
minutes.
Commander? Is there something you need?
Dr.
How did you end
Chakwas,
up
I didn't
serving
actually
on
talk
an
to you.
Alliance ship?
I enlisted right out of med school. Earth always seemed boring to me. Too safe, too secure. I figured the colonies were teeming with exotic adventure. I wanted to travel the stars, tending the wounds of tough soldiers with piercing eyes and sensitive souls. Turns out military life isn't quite as romantic as I'd imagined.
Yeah,
But humanity needs the Alliance if we want to keep expanding through the Traverse. And the Alliance always needs good doctors. So I stayed on to do my part.
Any regrets?
Ever think you made the wrong choice?
Sometimes I think about opening a private practice back on Earth. Or maybe taking a position at one of the new med centers out in the colonies. But there's something special about working on soldiers. If I left the Alliance now, I'd feel like I was abandoning them.
Caden
How well
Alenko.
do you know the lieutenant?
I'd never worked with him before this mission. But he has an impressive service record. Over a dozen special commendations. Tends to keep to himself, though. Maybe because of the headaches. It's not easy being an L2.
An L2.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, most biotics now use the L3 implants. Lieutenant Alenko was wired with the old L2 configuration. Sometimes there are complications.
What kind of complications?
Like
Severe
head
mental
explosions.
disabilities, insanity, crippling physical pain. There's a long list of horrific side effects. Caden's lucky. He just gets migraines.
Migraine.
I should go.
Goodbye,
should
Commander.
go. Liero, don't know if I talked to you because I don't remember the last time. Ooh, what the hell? Okay, 1 minute. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
Okay, so what happened right there was my screen popped out because apparently EA has this new agreement and was like, yo, you should check this out. And as soon as that happened, it just minimized my screen and I was freaking out. So yeah, she's the best.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
Tell me more
Maybe
about
we
yourself.
could pick up where we left off. You were telling me about your interest in the Protheans.
Actually, I think I was talking about my interest in you, and making a fool of myself in the process. As I said, I am not used to dealing with people, especially humans. I did not really know much about your species when we first met, Shepard.
Trying to get my
I
dick.
found it hard to take humanity seriously. Your kind always seemed so rushed and high-strung.
Well, we don't have the luxury of time. And Asari can live for 1,000 years. We're lucky if we hit 150.
Even with the new
That is
advances
true.
in
At
technologies
first
in
I
this
thought that was a
universe.
weakness of your species. After spending time with you and your crew, however, I think it may actually be an advantage. You humans are creatures of action. You pursue your goals with an almost indomitable determination. It is an admirable trait, but also an intimidating
Why
one.
is Liara rendered so good, but the others got some
Can't
low
argue with
poly
results.
stuff.
No, but there are consequences. Unfortunately, the rest of the galaxy sees humanity as a
Except for
bully.
your throat.
You run over anyone who gets in your way. It is up to people like you to change their minds, Shepard.
I'm trying.
I'm doing the best I can, Liara.
There is a reason the Council chose you to become a Spectre. They saw something special in you. The best of what humanity has to offer.
Well, that's
I
a
looked into your history.
big,
I know what you did during the Blitz. It was a
plate to-
remarkable display of courage and heroism.
do.
Why are you so interested in me?
She wants
I
to fuck.
wanted to know more about you. to understand what made you into the man you are. There is something compelling about you, Shepard.
You're interested in me because of my visions. You just want to know more about the Protheans.
I admit, your connection to the Protheans had something to do with my initial
She wants
interest.
my dick, but I don't want to give her my dick.
But it has grown beyond that. You intrigue me, Shepard. But I was not sure if it was appropriate to act on my feelings. I thought there might already be a relationship between you and Chief Williams.
I don't know what to say. Why did they think we were all... I tried my best not to do anything, but they still want to fuck me. Guys.
My relationships are none of your business.
I apologize, Commander. I did not mean to pry. I thought there was a mutual attraction between us. Obviously, I do not know as much about human relationships as I thought.
I just want to be friends.
I'm not interested in you in that way, Liara.
Just calm
This
down.
is very embarrassing for me, Commander. Please, let's talk about something else.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Everybody wants to fuck Shepard. Holy teleportation. Rex. Ashley.
Commander,
What's your opinion on the last mission?
gotta admire those colonials. That's about the worst place for a colony I've ever seen. Given the option, I'd get the hell out of Dodge.
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Caden.
Are you interested in the Lieutenant Chief?
Of course not, sir. Fraternization is against regulations. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Did your
Dad.
father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap
Captain,
posting
my
he could get
captain.
that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to get recognized, but he never made it above serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I made chief. First thing he did was salute.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
Where did you grow up?
All over.
Spacer.
We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right? I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
Must be nice.
You're lucky to have a close family.
Sorry, I forgot about your family situation.
They all died when I was 16.
Or lack thereof. Relax, Williams. I've dealt with it.
Asked me to clear a bunker of armed hostiles? No problem. Dealing with the foot in my mouth? Not so good with it. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story.
Feel like Sharon.
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did. Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year.
Okay.
This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobyl. Same cluster, but a dozen Hellwire away. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
No
If he really liked
means
her, he
no.
wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Mike thought they'd
women.
go for a romantic walk
You never
in the
know what to
woods,
do.
'cause he figured
Everything's
it was
wrong and
past
everything's
time he
right.
did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
Ooh. Police.
Why didn't you tell the police?
Whoop, whoop.
She said it wouldn't solve the real problem, and she and Mike
sound
would
of
both become
police.
household
Whoop,
names.
whoop.
It was a small
The
colony.
sound of the music.
I said it was her call to make,
don't know what-
that
I don't
we
know
should
how
let
to
her do
sing
it
a
her
song.
way. Mom was pretty pissed about that.
Where are my socks? My feetsies are cold.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol practice, but didn't like it. She's kind of nervous. Sarah took Aikido.
Aikido.
Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird. Likes big skirts and tops you have to tie her into. Great things to her figure, though.
The perfect weeb. What about you?
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
Ooh. Found my socks. Dedicated.
You traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her.
Whoa.
I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell.
An infiltrator.
She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to
Smart.
the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was going to end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there.
Yeah, probably fuck up your
physiology.
not phys.
I will drink
Yeah, I think it is
life to the
physiology.
lees. All
Your body.
times I've enjoyed it greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those
Hey,
that love
that's,
me and alone.
That thing.
For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
What is this crap? Bored. Tennyson.
I didn't know you liked classical literature.
Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem.
Yeah,
Every
that's
time
it,
he shipped out,
Ulysses.
he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home.
Oh.
Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
From the yeah, sure. Jesus, you can be such an asshole.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
Are you a fanatic? Keep it to yourself. It's literally not my place to judge.
Your beliefs are your business. I'm your commanding
That's
officer,
that's
not
what
your
I
moral
believe.
compass.
You do what you want.
I appreciate that,
As
Skipper.
long as you don't
I should get back to my
enforce it
duties.
upon
Didn't mean
others.
to take up so much of your time.
Yeah, okay.
Dismissed, Chief.
Dismissed.
Sir.
Sir. Some nice codex entries. Oh. This isn't the codex. Codex. Journal. I think I have to talk to Rex.
So, we've got Saren on the run.
Yeah, buddy.
It won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Because you can fight like a Krogan and run like a
He's
leopard,
rotten
but you'll never be
to
better
the
than
core.
Commander Shepard.
I could tell as soon as I met him.
Ooh, he knew Sharon.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
Sharon.
I would have if I thought I was important.
Fair enough.
I think I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was
Winky
looking
face.
for more men, too. So I checked it out.
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest
Raiding?
haul yet.
What was Saren doing raiding?
I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
Yeah, what was he doing?
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. A couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
What was the cargo?
What kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
Okay.
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
Oh.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Genevieve.
What can you tell me about the Genevieve?
Ask this. All I know, every Krogan
Yeah.
is
Already checked
Shepard.
this stuff out. Garrus.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I'll bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian
Ooh,
geneticist
yes.
I was
This is a side mission for
investigating.
Garrus.
That case was a bit disturbing.
Disturbing.
What happened? Why were you investigating them?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
So what was it?
Both, actually. But it took us a while to figure that out.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist.
See it, Leon.
So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development. But there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
Krogan
You're
testicles.
kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
What did you do about the
Krogans
geneticist?
have 4 balls.
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
You mean threaten? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it paid off. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up, and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes, walking living test
Yeah,
tubes.
shit.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
Bastard.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. He just used them to make more organs. But they wouldn't listen.
But they
Well, it's
could
not
have
worth the
been
risk.
saved.
You pursue the vessel and disable it. That's the best choice.
They sent the military after him, but he got away just the same. Yes, they did. I went to Patton and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
If you don't care about the fate of those hostages, then you're no better than he is. You're just a terrorist with a badge.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It doesn't make it any easier, but I see your point. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salion?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
Hey, that's
I
me.
was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
Whoa. An upgrade. Engineer. Ooh. Adam.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Stealth
Fill me
system.
in on the IES stealth systems. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions.
Okay.
So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster than light travel?
Cranking up to FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
Damn straight. Normandy.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed, and she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo. Only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ooh. Some nice experience. Sound. Oh, whoa, whoa.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me, especially your chief engineer. but I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving, and the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
It's too quiet
Silence wakes
to
you
sleep.
up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Grass is greener on the other
Sometimes we don't
side.
appreciate what we have until it's gone.
But
That's true.
you could always go home.
I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually. But we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
I didn't think I
When my
asked
people reach
this.
maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet.
Okay.
But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when a gift is not particularly valuable,
Imagine
the
if, like,
captain
in real
usually
life, there was a
accepts
whole
it out of a
society
sense of
based on,
tradition.
like, actual, like,
However, there is
water
a stigma
ships
to presenting a
that had
substandard
similar
gift.
things to the
It's not the
Quarians.
best
That'd
way
be an
to make a
interesting
good
concept.
impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
Sounds dangerous.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
Let's change topic.
I want to talk
Like
about
what?
something. Tell me about your people.
Our lives
Just
aren't easy.
quickly.
Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the... There are 17 million
Okay, I
Quarians in the
didn't
flotilla,
listen to this.
and each of us
At least
relies
I don't
on the
remember.
others for survival.
I'm sorry if I didn't.
The bonds
If
among my
I
people
did
are
check this
strong.
out.
Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
Like what?
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child.
Just
If our
like
population grows too much,
China
it
at
would
one point,
strain
or
our resources
Japan?
to their breaking point.
I think
Of
that was
course,
the thing
we also
at one
can't
point.
allow our numbers to
where
become too few.
You weren't
If our
allowed to have
population
more
is
than
in
one
decline,
child
the
unless
rule
the
against
child was a
births is
daughter. Then you were allowed to have
temporarily
one more, and
In
and
extreme
hopefully it was a
cases of
son.
population decline,
Kinda thing.
incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births. Though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
The conclave.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, The Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction.
Ooh.
The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency.
Emergency.
To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave
Basically
4
one per
times.
century, if you include the current century. Okay.
I should go.
See you later.
And something I didn't realize that was in this game is if you go talk to Joker, he actually does mention mention stuff about the previous mission. So we'll go quickly check on him, and then we'll go. I think we'll go do the meteor mission, Falling Sky or whatever. The one with the race of aliens that's mentioned the entire Mass Effect game, but actually never shows up in the Mass Effect game, so they made a DLC just to rectify that. At least that's what I think what they did. I mean,
hey, Commander, next time we touch down, let's try not to park the ship in a colony of mutant zombies. Just thinking out loud here.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't
Seth
what you
Green.
expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know?
bone disease.
Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Froelich syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic, but I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
I need to know more about this Froelich syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
You're not going to break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
I was just thinking how much you remind me of Santa Claus.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy, even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
I have to go.
All right, see you.
Well, when you have a condition, you have to work twice, even 4 times as hard as a normal person. I mean, it makes you better than the rest.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson,
shit.
I'm glad it's you.
Hey,
I'm not
fuck
sure
you.
about
Carry
that.
on, Presley.
Yes, sir.
I don't even want to talk to him. I don't like that character.